It's time to bake some cookies. Hey everyone, it's Holly. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I do a lot of cooking, travel, homeschooling, and motherhood videos. So if you enjoy at least one of those things, I really hope that you would subscribe and stay tuned. All right, it is that time of year when the weather's getting cooler, and when the weather gets cooler, that is when I love to get into the kitchen and do some baking. And in today's video, I wanted to share with you my recipe for espresso chocolate chip oatmeal cookies. These cookies are so delicious. I seriously can eat them for breakfast and enjoy them really throughout the whole day. If you are a coffee lover and just a cookie lover in general, I believe you will also love these cookies. So let's get into the kitchen right now as I make for you my espresso chocolate chip oatmeal cookies. Here is all the ingredients that I will be using: butter, white sugar, brown sugar, 2 large eggs, all-purpose flour, baking powder, sea salt, espresso instant coffee, old-fashioned oats, and semi-sweet chocolate chips. First, with my baking, I am going to add 1 cup of salted softened butter, or 2 sticks of butter, to a large mixing bowl. I always use my KitchenAid. Then I'm going to add 1 cup of granulated sugar, then a cup of packed brown sugar. I prefer dark brown sugar. Then with these 3 ingredients, I'm going to mix them in my KitchenAid for 3 minutes until the batter looks just like this. Next, I'm going to add 2 large eggs. I always break open my eggs and do all the mixing separately, so that way I don't get surprised later to find I dropped a shell in there. This way I could see it easier. Add my eggs to the batter and mix it again for another 3 minutes until it looks just like this. Then in a separate mixing bowl, I am going to add 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. And I always like to sift my flour. It's totally optional, but this is just the way I prefer to do it. Get all that flour broken up. Then add 2 teaspoons of instant espresso powder. This is going to be your key ingredient. Next, add a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder and then a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Get everything well mixed together. I usually like to use a pastry blender for this. Then we'll add our dry ingredients to our wet ingredients. I find the best way to do this is to use a measuring cup to get chunks of it in there, and then eventually I just dump all the rest in. Mix everything up, blending it well for about 2 minutes until the batter looks just like this. Then I'm going to add 1.5 cups of semi-sweet chocolate chips. Last, I'm going to add 3 cups of old-fashioned rolled oats. You can hand mix it all together, but I prefer to stick it back in the electric mixer or KitchenAid and let it mix for about a minute, so that way everything gets well incorporated. After everything is mixed, I like to chill my dough for at least an hour. After my dough is chilled, I will preheat my oven to 350, then make a bunch of dough balls, each scoop being a little over the size of a tablespoon. And sometimes I like to take my dough balls and freeze a bunch of them because I could freeze them and cook some fresh cookies anytime I want. This cookie dough freezes well for up to 6 months, and it's always fun to have it handy if I want to have some fresh cookies one afternoon, but don't feel like putting the entire recipe together. That is just an option. But if you want to go ahead and make up all your cookies at once, you can do that as well, and you can freeze the cookies just the same. Once I get all my cookies on a tray and my oven is all ready, I will bake these cookies at 350 for 14 minutes until they look just like this. Nice and golden around the edges. This to me is the perfect looking cookie. So that is it. That is all you have to do to get these amazing cookies. I am telling you, these cookies with that instant espresso powder has such a great flavor to them. And if you are wondering, are they soft and chewy inside? Yes. Even after they have gotten to be room temperature, they stay soft and chewy. This to me is a perfect cookie inside. This is how I like my cookies to churn out. Anyways, that is the entire recipe. Again, you can freeze these cookies once they are baked. Let them completely cool. Freeze them for up to 6 months if you want to. Anytime you want a fresh tasting cookie, just pull them out of the freezer and let them soften up. Anyways, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that this is a fun new recipe that you could add to your collection. If you enjoyed, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I hope that you have a wonderful day.